Yo.
What's up?
Oh man, not much. Sitting here writing a report, probably similar to what you're doing.
Fine.
Huh?
I already wrote my report.
You've got all your homework done.
Did all my homework.
So you got this Irish trip all planned out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Get back to you about one little portion of that, but maybe you've already gotten it sorted out. So how are things? How are things going over there? Trump getting shot at.
Yes.
Things looking pretty crazy for the Open.
Are things looking crazy for the Open?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was interested to see what you think of all this and what sort of effect it's going to have on the market.
Probably bullish. Yeah. If Donald Trump being president is bullish, which it seems to be, then you would think that this would be bullish because this probably just increased his chances, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, seems to be a pretty much done deal now. Like the most American patriotic photograph I think I've ever seen of a bloody Trump, his fist in the air and
No,
flag flying.
that picture is amazing, isn't it?
It's just missing an eagle, kind of, you know, doing one of those in the background.
That's what I was thinking. It's like you're talking about half an inch. Right.
Not even a hair.
Right. Right. But even if we call it half an inch, that's if that thing's half an inch and goes in his fucking brain and kills him. I mean, we're living in a fucking very different world this morning. There's riots
Yeah.
everywhere right now. I would think, I don't know, but I would think that there would be riots all over the place right now with a half an inch difference.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I don't I was wondering if there would be riots anyway, but
that's all another story. I mean, the next thing we got to get through is if he loses the election, you know, what's going to happen then?
well, I mean, is that even possible? I mean, what
Is
I
it
was talking about,
possible?
what I was talking about earlier in the year was that the Democrats were going to just try and push through whoever, most probably Biden, for the win, which would be bullshit, and then the other side just wouldn't. Well, no one's going to accept that, and then the riots. But you still think that they're going to try and run something, the Democrats?
I mean, my personal belief is they're going to bring during the Democratic National Convention, they're going to bring Michelle Obama in on a what do you call those things that they used to carry the princes around in and the kings, on their shoulders, you know?
Yeah.
They're, they're going to bring Michelle in on one of those, and she's just going to be like throwing flower petals to the crowd as they bring her in, and she's going to announce that she's running. That's my personal belief.
You don't think it'll be a, doing a deal with Kennedy at the last minute?
Maybe. I kind of like him. I was listening to him last night. I kind of like that guy. Um, but it could be him too, yeah. But I just think that I don't know. I know Michelle Obama has no interest and she hates politics and she this and that. But the truth is, from what the polls show, she's the only one that guarantees victory.
Really? That's
Yeah, I mean she wins in a landslide from what the polls show. So I don't see how
uh,
you couldn't convince her. If it were me, I feel like if you put me in a room and my job was to convince her to run for president, I feel like I could do it. I have the speech for her.
you have the speech. All right,
Yeah,
go. Okay, okay, let's do this. I'm Michelle Obama. You're Jason Shapiro. We're somewhere in the back of a Democratic.
you're Michelle Obama. She's got a bigger Johnson than you do. But anyway,
Easy now. Easy now.
we could role play it.
Jeez, I mustn't have been conscious when you saw my Johnson. I've heard about you. I've heard about you,
You just say to her,
Shapiro.
listen, Michelle, understand that this is not what you want to do. The whole point is the Democrats love to say that, Donald Trump was an
No. We were getting somewhere there. We were getting somewhere there.
No, well,
Come
hold on. The point is,
on. Convince me.
Donald Trump is supposed to be, according to these people, an existential threat to democracy, right? That's the big word that they use now. And that word was obviously passed down because last week, within 2 hours, I heard 6 people say it. So if that's the case, if he's an existential threat to democracy, then you just tell Michelle, look, this is bigger than you. You know what I mean? I understand that you don't want to do it, but sometimes you are called to do something that is bigger than you. And this is the time. This guy's an existential threat, and you are the one that can ensure that this doesn't happen. So I know it's not what you want, but it's bigger than you, Michelle. It's bigger than you.
As Michelle would probably say, she'd say, listen, Jason, can I call you Jason?
Depends.
I've been there. I've done the job beside my husband. We know the gig, and we are now out to pasture, enjoying the fruits of our labor. And the world,
I get it, but you have a chance here to
be.
change, and I don't believe any of this, but you have a chance here to change history. Okay, and it's bigger than you. You have a chance to save this country.
She'll say we already changed history.
Okay, but I'm talking about now, you know. If you believe that this guy is going to take down democracy, then if that's really the downside of Donald Trump, that he's going to take down democracy, then you have to, and all she really has to do is do it, get elected.
Who really believes?
And then she can step down. She can step down on day one and hand it over to the vice president. They can't stop that, right?
Who really believes out there that he is the death of democracy? If you really ask yourself that question, you got to say, well, actually, it's like at least over 50%, or at least 50% of us believe he is not the death of democracy. So if that is the case, how is that the death of democracy?
Well, it's the 50% that do believe that have to convince her to do it, right? I mean, clearly, I don't believe that he is the death of democracy. I hope to fucking hell he's not. I don't necessarily believe that, but they're the ones that believe it, or at least they say it. I don't even know. That's the whole point. Is do they really believe it, or is that just the tagline? To scare people to vote, to vote, right?
They're just trying to scare people.
That's what's become so ridiculous about this whole thing, because both sides do that, right? Yeah. It's not, hey, my policies are better, or my way forward is better. It's all, if the other guy gets elected, the world is going to come to an end. That's where they're at with politics.
It's not exactly the best. Yeah.
It's so desperate.
It really, you said it right there. From a European's point of view, it's desperate, but not that all the countries or any of the countries in Europe are in a much better situation.
Am I right in saying that the country, these elections in Europe have gone to the left?
Well, yeah, so this is quite well talked about. So Macron was going up against Marine Le Pen, who represents the right. And they have two sets of votes in France. The first set of voting came in, and she won by a landslide. It was like completely a slap across the face.
And she's the left, right?
No, she's the right.
Oh.
So Macron, when they came to the second round of voting, it was like a week later, maybe 2 weeks. I'm not familiar with exactly how far they're spaced apart. But when it came to the second, Macron was so desperate to not let Marine Le Pen and the right win that he formed a sort of a strategic partnership with all of the left-wing politicians, and they organized for all of the 200 of those candidates on a local level to drop out and then consolidate to the center left and Macron. And so basically he got the technical win at any cost. and so she just didn't get the seats. So it's kind of like, well, the people voted this way, and then he organized for 200 of them to quit, and then sway those voters back to the middle and to the left.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and something similar happened in the UK as well recently with George Galloway heading up. He actually kind of, as far as I understand, and I really don't have the full breadth of this, but in the UK in these recent elections, I think George Galloway brought forward so many local and regional candidates that were Labour and were, well, basically just anything but Tory and, traditional right-wing Tory, that they then flooded the system, and then they got this huge landslide victory for Labour, which was the opposition party in the House of Commons. So that's why
that's left. Again, that's left.
That's
So
well,
the world is
yeah, it's
left. No?
Is the world going to the left? Yeah, that might be above my pay grade to give you an answer on that one, but in terms of France, it's gone to the left, but then creating a much starker divide. Similar to what you have in the US, it's polarized. It's you're hard Democrat or you're hard Republican. There's no, I don't know. There's none of that. It's just
I'm neither, but I don't count.
yeah. Well, I would say the same about myself. But India, I'm not familiar with what's happening in India, but some pretty big shit has gone down with the voting there. So this year, 2024, is the biggest voting year in the history of the planet. More people are voting this year on this planet than at any other time in history, human history. I think there's something like 119 countries or voting on elections this year. So the shake up here.
Jesus. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think everything though. I was talking to a friend of mine who moved to Japan 3 months ago, and I was just checking in with him. He's got like nothing to do with markets. To Mark, if you're listening, we were kind of starting to talk about all this stuff and markets perspective, how you just become so jaded and kind of immune to, or I don't know, immune, but you just kind of become really stoic about the whole thing, and you're just like, well, there's a whole another barrel of shit that's happening, and no one really cares,
And what is Spoo's gonna do?
Exactly.
That's all anyone really cares about.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's a bit of an indictment as to how jaded the whole world is about voting and politics now, really, isn't it? I mean, we're just apathy. That's the word. Apathetic. Is that a word? Apathy.
Yeah, that's a word.
Yeah. So everyone's just so apathetic to the whole thing now. Vote this way, vote that way. It doesn't matter. You're still going to get fucked.
That's a fact. That's how I feel. I'm not certainly I've not been in a good mental. Well, my biggest problem is I had to pay taxes this past week, and that always puts me in a foul fucking mood.
I was wondering what had you so quiet down in the mouth.
No, it always puts me in a foul mood, and in particular with the politics. Like I don't even, these politicians, whatever, they're going to do what they're going to do. We know what they're going to do. They're going to play the game and all that. But and I would love if it didn't affect me. But the bottom line is, I'm working hard and paying my money to them so that they can do this shit, and that pisses me off. I'm not going to lie.
Aren't you delighted that, there's thousands of people driving Mercedes in Ukraine now?
Yeah, I saw that.
Or that all the soldiers in Ukraine now have weapons that they can shoot more because you're paying your taxes.
Yeah, it's great. Makes me feel really good about all of it. It really does. It's just so fucking disgusting, really. You
Well,
know,
it is. That's
and you're so helpless. That's the other point. It's like such a feeling of helplessness. Like, what the hell can I do about it?
but this is kind of what I was trying to get into, I suppose, was, when I was talking with my friend Mark about this, it's like, my response to it, he's like, isn't this crazy the way, like, like the Democrats are doing this and the Republicans are doing that, and we're dealing with this sort of thing in Ireland and this sort of thing in France and the UK, and I'm just like, and I kind of felt a bit weird about saying, well, you know what, when it comes to trading, we're just so like numb to it, and we're just like, well, how's the market going to respond, and what's the market responding to? But then you kind of stop yourself, and well, I do anyway, and I'm kind of like, yeah, but is that how I should be about it? And suppose the answer is yes, because how are we gonna fix any of these things that we just see all the time? It's almost impossible.
Yeah, it's gross, man. About all I can really say is it's fucking gross. It's so gross and depressing. Yes, mate.
Uh,
Those are
you
the
gotta
words.
you gotta detach yourself from it though, because you can't boil the ocean. You can't take
No,
these
that's
things
it.
on your.
You gotta detach yourself from it.
You can't take these.
Except you gotta detach yourself from it, except when they take 30% of your fucking income. It's hard to detach yourself from it when you're writing fucking huge checks. Huge checks relative to what you make in particular. Hard to detach yourself from that. Nobody's there when when I short the S&P and they go 500 points in my face and I lose a bunch of money. Nobody's there giving me my money back.
But I think taking it, I don't know, being a bit stoic about that, I'd say that I've had my fair share of chunky backs. Nothing at your level, unfortunately. But I think that
It doesn't,
the
it's not
big,
a question of the
the
amount. It's a question of
it's
the
a no, I understand, but
relative
what
to
I'm
your income.
right, right. But what I'm saying is that the harder it is, the easier I just go. Well, I'm not going to think about that because it's just going to fucking put a gun to my head otherwise. You
Yeah,
know,
that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
so the bigger the check, the more I'm just like not thinking about that. You know. If it's small, punitive, consistent stuff, well, then that's just really annoying. But I'm not qualified to have to share those problems. Unfortunately, uh, they'd be champagne problems to me, but champagne problems to one person are big problems to another. My big
Yeah.
question is, market-wise, how do you think the dollar's going to respond here?
I don't really think there's going to be any big market reaction to this shit. Does it change anything? Does it change the liquidity situation? I think that's what's driving everything. So, I mean, I'm not saying it can't have a reaction in the short term. The path it can always be whatever, but does it really? Did this really change anything in terms of what
No,
moves markets?
I don't think so. But I think a certain amount of risk will be priced into the dollar, as in like to safety, a small bit. I don't know.
It could be, could be. That may be first reaction, but well, flight to
Bonds,
what safety? What safety from what? Did anything really change? Okay, the guy got shot in the ear. The guy got shot in the freaking temple, and then maybe that's what I say, a half an inch away or whatever, a couple millimeters away, and we got a different story, right?
yeah,
But I mean, whatever. The dude got shot in the ear. If anything, it lowers the chances of him getting nailed in the future, you would think, because now the security is going to get beefed up, right?
yeah.
So, I remember when 9/11 happened, and everybody was freaking out. And I had one buddy who was a Scottish guy, actually, living in America. And he was like, I don't know what everybody's freaking out about. Now it's over. He goes, he kept saying, this guy just blew his freaking wad, man. Like that's all he had. So, and everyone was like, oh, there's going to be more attacks. And, everyone was like freaking out. The worst case scenario, as people usually do.
Mm.
This guy just kept saying, it's over now. Okay. Like what happened was horrible. but it's not happening again now. It's over. The guy just, he's done. So there's nothing
Yeah,
left to worry about. And he was truthfully totally right about that, as it turned out.
sure. Did equities rally out of that day?
No, after 9/11, no. There was a big move down for about 2 weeks and then a rally right back up and then new highs.
You guys. Yeah.
But this ain't no fucking 9/11, man.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
Donald
I
Trump gets shot in the fucking ear. I mean, okay.
I honestly think what would be awesome would be that you have, because you have Kennedy's on Twitter sent a video out there and he said, hey Democrats, I'm available. You can find my phone number on the website. Give me a call.
Yeah, I don't know why they're so
Wouldn't it-
against him. I mean, he's a freaking candidate, for crying out loud. They were the backbone of the Democratic Party for how long? I don't know enough about him or enough about politics for that matter to know what his deal is, but you would think that would be a choice.
No, no, the dream team, Trump and Kennedy. Funny.
Freaking dude,
Hear me out.
his
Trump
uncle.
Kennedy for the win. Slam dunk.
Go for it.
Let's
I
see.
don't really know anything about the dude, quite frankly.
He's got a
But,
massive reputation as a anti-vaxxer.
oh,
Not that
really?
not that Trump
A
really is.
Democrat anti-vaxxer.
But he's independent now, right? So
Yeah, well, I mean, that is why I like him. And even that's fucking sad because you look, so they don't include him because he's an independent. They don't include him in any of the things, the debates, the whatever. He's not allowed in any of that because the people that control that just don't allow it. Like, who controls that? I would like to see him in a debate. Why the hell not?
the night
But
of the debate, he ran a debate in parallel in a studio, and posted it
who did
all
he
on
debate?
Twitter. He debated the same questions that were put forward to the
I see.
moderator.
Yeah, but nobody
So they
watched
would
it.
they would pause the feed from the debate, and then he would respond,
Oh, that's funny.
and then they would give the Trump response, and then the Biden response,
And then
and
he'd
then it would be
respond.
next question. So they had this kind of delayed feed thing going on.
Right. What good did that do?
It's on Twitter. It actually had a ton of, had, I don't know, had a lot of people watching it.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It had a huge amount of views on Twitter.
Hmm. I didn't even know about it. I have to check that out.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. I think whatever. Looks to me like it's going to be Donald Trump. So, and if it's
Yeah,
not, that would be even more interesting
that'll
because
be
then
the big one. I know you like talking about the big one.
no, his people will fucking, And again, you would say, oh, his people are going to freak out and there's going to be a revolution. That's kind of the easy answer, right? But
Yeah,
what I have found is that people fucking talk a big game. You know what I mean? But when it comes to actually doing something, they just talk.
yeah.
It's like these freaking people, all these celebrities that said they were gonna, leave the
No,
country if Donald Trump
yeah.
became president. Well, how many actually did? None.
That's funny. I was scrolling on TikTok this morning when I was having my coffee, and
That's
it was a video.
it's a little embarrassing, but okay. TikTok is for teenage girls.
No, man, no. You're way behind the times on this thing. You got to
Well,
get on the talk,
uh,
man.
me being behind the times is nothing new. So yeah. Anyway, go ahead. So you're on the talk. You're
So
doing
I'm
you
taking
were
in the
doing one of your
talk this
dances.
morning.
Were you doing one of those dances? The floss or something? You were doing the floss.
No, I've heard you do a pretty mean floss though. But,
My
uh,
stepdaughter actually does an incredible floss. All right, go ahead.
I was scrolling away, and there was a video someone took of the shooter getting shot, and then I was flicking through the comments, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, it's going to be a revolution! Can you imagine what would happen if he hit the target?" And the people would be up in arms, and like everyone would be rioting in the streets and did it. And then there was just one single comment from I don't know whoever saying, "Yeah, I thought that," and then I remembered we're all fat and lazy.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, all these
And
people
that's like,
talk
yeah,
about all this shit, but then they're all a bunch of talkers, man. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Get out. Let's get out there. I'm all for it, man. Let's get out there. Let's
Yeah.
get it done already. It's obvious what needs to be done. We need to wipe the slate clean. So let's go, man.
Drain the swamp.
Yeah, let's fucking go. But no one's, they're all a bunch of talkers. No one actually is willing to risk
No,
their personal freedom over that.
well, I think there's a core of people who would.
Where are they?
They're up in the hills of Alabama or some shit like that. I don't know where they are.
Yeah,
They're in,
they talk a big game. You know what I mean? They
yeah.
talk a big game, but where are they? They certainly could do it. They could organize. They're on the internet. They certainly have enough guns that they could cause a huge freaking ruckus, man, if that's what they wanted to do. And let's see, let's see, let's see. Should Donald Trump lose the election, which clearly the powers that be are going to do as much as they can to have that happen. But let's see if he loses the election. Let's see if these guys step up, man, and say it's been rigged and go fucking ape shit.
They failed in court. They failed in the public court. So they take a pot shot at the guy and they miss. I mean, okay.
But who took a pop shot at him? I'm reading that there was some fucking the dude's a registered Republican NRA member.
Yeah, but that story needs to be checked out because apparently I was sitting there this morning with the coffee and then Shelby was like, here's a video from the guy who they're saying did it. And he just posted this video saying it's not him because it was posted after the shooting. So apparently
So it's going to be one of these fucking shit shows now.
they've named, I think they've gotten the wrong name for the guy,
How
or
is that even? How is that even possible?
I don't know. I don't know. But
So it's all just going to be another thing, a complete shit show that we will never know what's true and what's not true, and it
and
just
you,
leads
and
to more fodder of people arguing and getting on Twitter and
yeah, but when it comes to news, man, you tell me what is 100% true and not true. If
I mean,
you're
it shouldn't
watching
be that
or
hard.
reading it,
Here's a dead body. Who is it? That doesn't seem like that should be that hard to me. Here he
I
is.
I
It's
agree.
it's clearly somebody.
I agree.
It's a
I agree.
person. I mean, you can't figure out who it is, and that just goes to show how gross it is if you can't figure out who it is. Someone could figure out who it is, but if they're not going to tell us for whatever reason, like it's
It'll be
disgusting,
who they
man.
want it to
It's
be,
so
man.
fucking frustrating. It's all just bull. We don't get told anything that's true. It's horrible,
Right.
right?
That
To
that
me, it's very fucking. It's horrible. I can't. I have a hard time dealing with it, man. I got to tell you, I'm having a very hard time dealing
well,
with it.
listen, we're gonna get you over to Ireland on a diplomatic trip, and we're gonna take it from there and put the world to rights, hopefully.
They're gonna put the world to right. That's the point. There's nothing you can fucking do. It's a we're all just a bunch of fucking fools. I saw this thing, this interview with I think his name is McCarthy, maybe. He used to be the Speaker of the House of Representatives,
Yeah,
and they kicked him out or whatever because
that's
he passed through the government funding bill, and the Republicans were all pissed off about that, so they kicked him out.
right.
And
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, and he was talking about. He goes, "Look, here's what you got to know. All right." There was one guy that was holding up the vote, and he was saying he was holding up the vote because he didn't think that we should be doing all this deficit spending and that we had to watch our budget. And he goes, and that's fine, right? He goes, I can agree with that idea. We all know that that's true, right? He goes, but the truth is, he was holding up the vote because we had an ethics committee looking into the fact that he was having sex with underage girls. And he told me that if we would drop that investigation, that he would move his vote over to my side. Now, I don't know if McCarthy's telling the truth, but to me, that's what I've said it before. I'm only voting for women for the rest of my life. You know, it has to be a woman, the right woman. I'm not going to vote for Hillary Clinton or something, but you know, I'm only voting for women the rest of my life because I think that these men get in power and they just it all be look. I'm a man. It all becomes about sex, man. Like, and all these decisions are being made based on fucking sex. Men are fucking pigs, man. You know, and all these decisions get made based on fucking sex and worse, pedophilia. Like that's what runs this fucking show. I never thought that until that whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, you know, came to light,
Wow.
right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
But now, like, I really think that's like all of it. You know? And that is so fucking scary and disgusting. Okay, I've always said that the difference
Yeah.
between I've always said the difference between a Republican and a I probably said this to you before, right? To me, the difference between a Republican and a Democrat is a Democrat gets elected into office and gets power so that he can join a pedophilia cult. Whereas a Republican gets elected and gets power so that he can join a homosexual pedophilia cult. That's the only difference between the two of them to me. You know, put that on the internet. Someone's going to shoot me on the back of that one, but
I'm gonna put that on TikTok and gonna watch this whole thing blow.
I don't even care anymore, man. Let them fucking shoot me. It's so depressing. I don't even want to be around for any of this shit anymore. I'm telling you. I keep looking at like I had a great run. I was extremely lucky in my life that I was born when I was born. You know, after World War II, you know,
Why are you saying that? The new plan, all that?
before all this shit, I'm just saying that I was born and was able to live my life in an extremely lucky time, you know.
Why do you call it lucky though, compared to where we are now?
Well, I'm saying compared to where we are now, now we're going in the downhill. So, you know, take me is what I'm saying. I
Right.
was I was lucky to be around during the time I was around. I had a good run. Um, if you look at it throughout the world and throughout history, you know, I was able to do things that most people in the history of the world were not able to do. I was able to choose a career and try to succeed at it, you know what I mean, and get through my failures and you know and do whatever. Um,
So
I
you're
just
saying, but now just on this one thing, a career, that it's not really as possible or possible at all now to choose your career,
no, it
make
is. Saying
mistakes.
throughout history, it hasn't been like that, you know, but certainly now it is. Um, but I'm, I'm just saying, like, I don't want to be. And you know what else depressed the shit out of me this last week was I read this book. I'm actually doing a video on it this week, but I read this book this week by this guy,
This episode brought to you by
Ray Kurzweil. It's Ray Kurzweil.
the singularity is nearer. What's the
Yeah.
byline? When you're what?
When we merge with AI.
When we merge with AI.
Yeah, so you got to understand this guy Ray Kurzweil, and I don't know, you know what I mean? This shit is way above my head, right? And this guy is way more intelligent than I could ever be, right? Well, what I know about him is that he's incredibly smart, right?
Yeah.
He invented essentially the electric organ back in the 70s when he was about 18 years old, and the Kurzweil organ is still the standard for those things, right? You go on there and
Wow.
it sounds like you're playing an orchestra, right? That's how
Right.
he started his life, and that was only because his parents were musicians. So as a kid, he would just toy with these instruments, and he invented this, right? But he's
Wow.
gone on, and particularly in the last 25, 30 years, he's been very involved with the AI thing, right?
Okay.
And guys started companies and sold them and made shitloads of money. But now one of his jobs is he is probably the top consultant to Google for AI. So he has something to say about where AI is going, clearly, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he wrote a book 25 years ago about it, I noticed. And I was reading, I didn't read that whole book because I didn't want to read both of them because this was the follow up to it. Um, but the one he wrote 25 years ago was talking about where AI was going. And he's been right on a very large percentage of it. Not only has he been right on a large percentage of it, but it appears to me that like Musk and all these people, we're listening to him, you know,
Okay.
because a lot of the things
Yeah.
that he was talking about is exactly what they invested their money in, right?
Right.
So again, I don't know if he's going to be right or wrong. I'm always cynical of somebody predicting the future and where it's going, but this is a guy that seems very, very smart, and B, not only he's not totally guessing because he has a say in where the future of AI is going, right? And his claim is that we're going to, shit in our brains that gets connected automatically to the cloud and all that stuff. And he's all jacked up about it because he's like, all of a sudden all human beings are gonna be 1,000 times smarter when this happens, right? And the body's not going to be needed, and we're gonna live forever because our consciousness essentially is going to be in the cloud. Um, and you see
Yeah,
that is one of
that's
Elon Musk's businesses, is that whole thing where he's putting shit in people's brains, right?
yeah,
It's exactly what this guy's talking about, which again, I don't think is a coincidence. I think these people are following what he is saying, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but do I want to be around for that, man?
You
I don't
know,
I don't know if I do. And apparently all these people now that believe this and they're all like, doing the whole thing where when they die, because in this situation, nobody's gonna die because the body's not gonna matter, you know? So
but are you going to be, well, yeah, but are you going to be conscious? Are you going to be you, or is it just going to be a whole like hard drive file of the shit that you recorded on video and audio and
yeah,
maybe
you're just gonna
sensations?
be a
It's just
part of
going
the
to be a,
cloud. This is the thing. So it's such a weird
you,
conversation and
but
such a weird
you're not going to
existential
live
question.
forever. You're just going to be on a hard drive. You're just going to be a file on a hard drive.
Okay, but your consciousness lives forever. It's not you're on a hard drive. Your brain is part of the cloud.
Yeah, but okay, but we're not there where your consciousness is
Well, he's saying we're pretty damn close, man,
is running on a chip.
on the cloud. But anyway, he's saying we're
Well, a
pretty damn
chip and
close to this.
yeah.
And all I'm saying is, again, I don't know if I want to be around for that.
I don't
And
think I do either. Now
that's what
you're
I'm
bringing
saying. And
me into this
that's
discussion.
what everybody, I think that I have talked to says, fuck that. I ain't doing that. But we say that, but the truth is, if that's where it goes, that's where it goes, I mean,
That's
people have
the
always thought, big jumps in so-called technology, right?
mm.
If you can call this technology, electricity or whatever, when it came out, there were plenty of people that were like, I'm not putting that shit in my house. It'll burn my freaking house down, right? Or-
Look. I'm with you, man. I
So the
honestly do
combination of
think
me reading this book is my point.
that's where we'll go. For someone to be able to, like, for an astronaut to go to Pluto or to go outside of our solar system, you are going to need to have a consciousness, like a a self-directed, sentient consciousness that can live for 300 years on a ship that's just fucking out there and connecting back to the cloud. And that's the only way that humans are going to get out of, or human consciousness is going to get out of our solar system. Or we suddenly start living to be 3, 4, 500 years old. Or we crack the speed of light. So it's going to happen through energy evolution, paradigm shift in energy generation, or us transcending our physical. That's the only way we're getting off this rock and out of the solar
Well,
system.
that's the other point of all of it. If what this guy is saying is that you're going to have to you're going to have to get off the rock because there's going to be too many people on this rock. And then you see that's where these people are doing. They're spending a ton of money, both Musk and a bunch of these other people, Branson and the guy from Amazon, right? They're spending a ton of money on how to get to freaking Mars and how to colonize other planets. So what
So
worries
what?
me is that these are the people that obviously, because they have the capital and the wherewithal, that will decide where we're going. And these people are going along the path of what this guy talked about in this book. And if that's where we're going,
It's like the Whaling
I don't
Corporation
know
in
if I don't know if I don't know if I want to be there, man. It's great. Let the future people be there. Okay, great. I don't know that I want to be there. And again, the combination of reading this and thinking this and then and politics and all that shit, it's got me in a place of like, what the fuck, man? You know, like
No,
what the, I know
I
I
see
really
what
got
you
to
mean.
worry about is where schools are going to open in 7 hours. So
I understand. I can see where you're coming from now.
I
Yeah,
gotta I gotta snap out of it, truthfully, because it's just like it's just depressing, man. It's so
man.
freaking depressing.
Well, this is kind of the place I was in when the whole Gaza situation kicked off, and there was just four, well, it still is 3, 4 months of just the most savage shit we have ever seen, and it's like, and having 2 young kids, I'm just like, what the fuck is going on with the world, and how are we still like this? And being
I keep
depressed,
coming back to
being depressed about reality.
let's just get it done, man. Let's just get it done. Let's go. Let's go.
What are we doing?
Let's just go, man. Everybody fucking take up arms and let's just fucking go already. And then we can come out. The sooner we start, the sooner we can come out the other side and restart. Well, what do they call that? We've talked about that, the fourth turning or whatever. Isn't that what it's called?
We are in the fourth turning.
Yeah, so let's get it done, man. Let's go. Let's go. I don't care anymore.
I
Let's
think we
fucking
have
go.
another 10 years left in this turning, no? 35, 2035, is that it? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't want to wait 10 years because I don't want to sit here for 10 years for the next 10 years and have to be thinking, let's just get it going, man. Let's just get it going. Don't fucking shoot the guy in the ear, man. Get him in the fucking temple and let's get it fucking going. That's what I'm saying. Whoever it is, I'm not saying Donald Trump, but whoever it is, let's just get him in the temple so we can fucking spark the, what do they
Honestly, I
call
think, yeah,
a powder keg? Let's just spark it and let's get it going, man. 2, 3, 4 years, let's get it going, and then let's come out the other end and see where we're at. But
I agree with you. You
I'm
know,
sick of I'm sick of waiting around.
the forest has to burn down to get the new growth going. So just,
That's
yeah,
it.
got it
Let's
going.
light it, man. Light the flame, dude. Let's go. I don't need to wait anymore. I'm sick of it. Like it's just like I'm always like that with the market too. I'm like, fuck, man. Here, okay, I'm long. All right, and here's my stop.
Yeah,
Okay.
just bring it on.
Yeah,
Just
let's go.
give me
Either
the
stop
answer.
me out or let's fucking go. Enough with this
Right.
up, down shit. Who fucking cares? Either stop me out, I'm fine with that, or fucking go my way and let me take my
That's
profit.
right. That's
You know?
right. When I was raising money for a startup of mine years ago, uh, I was talking with one of the investors, and this is before we raised capital. We were kind of getting ready to, and one of the investors, who was a very sophisticated individual, I was like, what's like the optimal outcome for you when things are going to fail? When things are going to fail, like how do you optimize that outcome? And he's like, things are going to fail. I want it to happen as fast as possible. He's like, if I'm going to lose $1 million, I want it to happen as fast as possible. And if this company is going to fail, I just want it to fail as fast as possible so we can get on to building something out of the ashes or getting on to the next thing and
Right.
learning from
Stop
the
wasting
old
your fucking
mistakes.
time thinking about it.
And
Move on. Take the
yeah,
loss, move on.
I
Yeah,
think I
that's
think I've got
exactly
the
how I
name
feel
for
with
it.
this. Let's go. What are we waiting for? Let's just fucking go, man. Let's go.
I think I've got the name for
And
our
I don't want to
podcast.
say that I wish that the guy got him in the freaking temple yesterday because obviously that's horrible. And I'm not wishing for somebody to shoot somebody in the temple and kill them. Okay. But I don't know what it's going to take to get it going. That I feel like would have been a step towards it. But I don't know what it's going to take, but let's get it going. I feel like
It's like this
maybe
groundswell is just building and building, but it's not.
that's it. Let's
It's the
go, man.
levee just isn't breaking. It's just
Yes, let's
just
break it.
angst and everything's just swelling and swelling, and there's just no break, and there's
Right.
no
Let's get
there's
it.
no shift.
Got to
It's
keep on
just
raining, If you want the levee to break, it's got to keep on raining. You know that song? Come on, please
yeah,
tell me that song.
yeah. I do.
Do
Is
you?
that hold on? If it keeps on or no?
If it
Oh
keeps
yeah,
on raining, the levee's gonna break.
yeah. I know the lyrics,
When
man.
the levee breaks, I got no place to stay. It's Zeppelin, baby. What a great
I know.
Zeppelin
I
song.
know what we should call our podcast.
When the
The
levee
levee.
breaks,
No, just call it the levee.
I like it.
And that could be the intro music. Bit of Zeppelin. It's only going to cost about 180 grand to get the music right.
Yeah, Zeppelin doesn't let their music be used, man.
No, and they're dead right.
About one
All
time.
right.
There you go.
Oh, I can't hear it. I'll overlay it in the edit though. Well, I think yeah, the fourth turning. I think it's all coming.
What's that?
I think it's all coming anyway. The fourth turning, we'll say. I think we might have to wait another 10 years, but
Yeah, I don't
uh,
want to wait 10 years, man. That's my point. Let's fucking go.
I think we're only gonna have to wait 4 months, man.
Maybe if Trump loses the election, then maybe that'll
Yeah,
get it. Maybe that'll get it going.
Levy's
Again,
gonna
I
break.
still I still question if anybody has the balls to do anything about it. But
Oh, I think they will. I think they will. But look, I'm a European. What would I know? But
I've just never. People have never, up to this point in my life, have never impressed me with their ability to actually stand behind what they say they want to stand behind. They
but this brings us back to what we're
vast
talking
majority
about.
of the time they just back down and go about their freaking lives because they got their wives and their spouses and their kids and their jobs and so they just back down and go about their lives. Nobody really,
Apathy.
yeah, nobody really wants to take a fucking stand. They want to talk about it. They love talking about it, but they don't really take a stand at the end of the day. Um, I'm ready to do it because I don't fucking care anymore.
I
So
think there's a lot of people out there who have little to nothing left to lose. And I'm not just talking about the state. I'm talking about maybe it's just a Western thing, but I don't know. There seems to be a certain shift going on. So
certainly feels that way to me, man. Certainly feels that way to me. And I was sitting there. I had a dinner last night with a guy, really cool guy, actually. I mean, this dude was cool. You're talking about a dude who immigrated here from China when he was 16, didn't even go to college, and started working at his uncle's, takeout Chinese restaurant or whatever.
right,
And the dude's he owns like 20 fucking restaurants now. Worked his ass off, put money, started his own restaurant, failed, he told me. Learned his
okay,
lesson 2 years later, saved money, started another one, and now he's got like 20 restaurants and he's killing it.
yeah,
Killing it. It was really a great, great story to hear.
yeah.
That's what this place is supposed to be about, but I don't know, man. I don't really get it. I don't get it. And how do you reconcile it with the markets? You know what I mean? Um, it seems kind of funny, but and I can't get bearish. I don't get bearish on politics. That's for damn sure. That's never helped you, right? Politics have always been bearish and the market always goes up. So I don't get bearish on politics. I think that's the worst trade of all. But
But being bearish on equities is just not a long-term trade. Just it's
hasn't even
up
been
and
a
to the
short
right, man.
hasn't even been a short-term trade.
Equity, that's right. Equities up and to the right. And if they say it's anything else,
Yeah,
uh,
so you know, I don't know what to say about that. I don't think any of this gets bearish, and this whole discussion is not market related, but as it turns out, but you know,
all
I
the market stuff is obvious, man. The charts are there. The moves are obvious. They're there. The markets are moving. It's like you say it's going up. I say it's going down. You know, and then who? No one is right and no one is wrong. It just is the market and what part of the wave that you decide to jump on and jump off. And that's, everyone going, oh, the market's going here, the market's going there. Fine. Well, yeah, maybe it'll do both of those things. And I don't know, it just seems to me, man, that it's just a wave you surf and you jump on, you jump off, and you're like getting married to a idea that, oh, the dollar is gonna crash to zero and it's, 40%
yeah, it's
of the
stupid.
dollar is added, over COVID and stimulus and blah blah blah. So the dollar's going to zero. Bitcoin's going to $1 billion a coin. It's like
Yeah.
what the
It's all stupidity, man. It really is. All that shit to me is it's just
but
like
there
everything else. It's just to sell. You know what I mean? It's all out there to sell something. You know what I mean? The financial press has to come up with all these ideas. I get on these interviews sometimes, and that's like pretty much been what I've been now saying. If people are like, "Well, what's gonna?" I go, "Dude, like nothing's gonna happen. Like I don't know what you want me to tell you. I know you want me to come on here and come up with some huge freaking thing, and
Yeah.
so then you can put the headline on your YouTube channel, and that will attract a lot of people to watch it, which is what you're trying to do. But I don't know what to tell you. What's going to happen? The same thing that always fucking happens. You know what I mean? Like you say, it's going to go up and down and up, but there's nothing apocalyptic. There's nothing that's going to be this huge thing. Like everybody wants to hear, oh, this is it. This is what this is going to be 2008 again. And, everybody wants to hear that, right? But
How
it's
many
just,
articles have you clicked on that say market to move sideways?
no, exactly. Zero.
Yeah.
Zero. But I'm not looking to attract, clicks. So I don't really care. I'm gonna say that's what I think. So that's what I think. There's nothing that exciting, I don't think, at this point. Everyone wants to say it. This is a bubble, and you know what I mean. Yada yada yada. And then
Sideways doesn't sell, man.
that's sideways doesn't sell, man. That's the greatest thing you said today. Sideways doesn't sell, man.
It doesn't.
Even status quo doesn't sell either. Everything is okay
Yeah.
doesn't sell. It's always got to be these like huge.
Flashing headline in red. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine, right? Everything's normal. Like nothing major is going to happen.
Yeah. Maybe
So
that's the name of the podcast. Everything's fucking fine.
that would be the contrarian call of the fucking, especially after the conversation we just had. That'd be the contrarian call of the century right there. Everything's fine.
That's what it's called. Everything's fine. Everything's fine at the levy.
Yeah, I like the levy better because then we can use the Zeppelin stuff. But
No, man, you can't use that Zeppelin shit. They'd shut you down like within 2 minutes.
yeah,
Unless you want to have a chat with the
Jimmy
guys
Page.
there. With Jimmy Page, yeah. Send him an email and just be like, yo, Jimmy boy, any chance I could use 30 seconds of one of your tunes?
Yeah. Ugh.
All right. Well, I got to get my homework done here. And
What is it, like 4:30 over there?
yeah,
Starting to
before
live
I'm in my
out.
new refurbed garage office here.
When and
Looking at,
what? You gonna hang out with me when I'm over there
of
in the
course I
MO?
am. Despite all your yabbering about not drinking, I'm going to get at least 8 pints of Guinness into you.
You'd never skid 8 pints of Guinness into me because after 2 pints, I'd be on the freaking floor pissing myself.
I'll get one. I'll get one. We'll get one
I
into you.
literally had one beer last night. I met this guy for dinner, and I had one beer.
Were you
And
on the floor? Did you
I
go
wasn't
back?
on the floor, but if I had had a second one,
Did, did he invite you back to his room after one pint?
no. But if I had a second one, then I probably would have been having trouble driving home. I'm such a lightweight when it comes to drinking
But
because I
I
drink
saw
so little now.
I saw a picture of you at a conference. You're a tall guy, are you? You're not a small guy. You're a big guy.
No, short.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
What height are you?
I mean, my wife will argue with this. I say that I'm 5'9".
Oh, you're 5'9".
That's
Oh,
what I
okay.
say. She says no.
What does she say you are?
She says I'm 5'8".
5'8".
Maggie, how tall am I? How tall am I? Oh, she's giving me 5'9" today. It's good because she's like 5'10". So
Oh, right. Okay. You like
yeah.
the taller lady.
Well, there's a big thing with that because we actually met on a like a dating site. We met on a dating site. I think I said on the dating site. What did I say? It was 5'10". I might even have said like 5'11" or 5'10", 5'11",
You lied on the site.
I mean, doesn't everybody do that?
Well,
You know,
it wasn't
I
Tinder, was
was
it?
when I was in high school, I was 5'11". I've shrunk.
It's out. Hot off the press. Shapiro meets
But
wife
anyway,
on
to answer your
site.
question, no, I'm not tall. I'm like 5'8" or 5'9".
Okay. Well, because if you were going over the 6 foot mark, you'd have no excuse for not being able to handle at least 2 pints.
Yeah, no, I'm nowhere near the 6 foot mark. All right, I got this fucking guy that wants to get on my quant, wants to do a little work on here for something we're trying to do. So let me do that.
All
But
right.
we got to hook up in the next week or two to figure out where we're hooking up. You said
Yeah.
you want what? Meet me in Galway or something like that? I'm going to be there August 8, 9, 10.
I'll give you a shout during the week and
We'll talk.
offline we'll have a chat and
All
see
right,
what
cool.
your dates are. All right.
All right, man. Have a
Good
good one.
talking to you.
Yeah.
Let go. Bye bye.